Okay, hi guys. I'm going to show you how to combine hotspots in the database. I'm going to switch over to this other screen. Okay, there we go. So you can see. All right. So I'm going to start off by opening up a home page of the database in Internet Explorer and type in my sign-in information. Okay, and we're here. Let me pull this screen up a little bigger and make sure everybody can see it. Okay, so for example, I'm going to show you how to combine hotspots in the non-dairy product category. And before you combine hotspots, there's certain pieces of information that need to all be the same before you can combine them. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to create a view to check that those things are aligned. So on the home page of the database, I'm going to go over here to List, and I'm going to scroll down to Hotspots and go to List again. And I'm going to click this button called Create View and click Standard View. Now what I'm doing here, I'm actually going to go back just a second. I'm creating a view so that I can check to make sure that everything is aligned. So once you've done this, created this view one time, you'll always be able to see it under your personal views. So you can see I've already created this view called Combine Hotspots Check. So I'll show you what it looks like that we're going to be creating. So I've already created this view, and once you do it once, you never have to do it again as long as you're working on the same computer. So for example, if I were to filter by related category and go to non-dairy, I'll show you what that looks like. And so I've created this view that shows me the hotspot type, and the life cycle stage. And these three things here in the middle are what we're going to be checking on as far as alignment goes to make sure that we can combine. So if I were to sort ascending, you could see this hotspot called biodiversity loss - aquaculture and fisheries. We want to make sure that if these four items are the hotspots that I want to combine, then I want to make sure that all of the names match and that the hotspot types and the life cycle stages match. So if I were looking at that first one, I would try to make sure that everything was environmental and aquaculture and fisheries. If one of these was off, so maybe this said both under hotspot type, or maybe if it said social, then I would want to go over here next to the hotspot name and say edit item, and I would want to change that so that everything aligns. So I'm going to show you how to create this view here to be able to do that. So to do that, you click on List, and you click Create View. And we want to create a standard view. So just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to create a second one just like the one we just saw. So I'm going to call it Combine Hotspot Check 2. And that's going to be the name of this list. And then all the things that you're seeing right here are the different pieces of information that you can display in your list. So you can see there's a huge list of them. For this list that we're wanting to see, we want to make sure that the hotspot type shows up and the life cycle stage. So I'm going to click both of those things. And then there's some that are already checked just by default. It looks like those things are okay. But again, when you're checking combining hotspots, the most important things are the hotspot type and the life cycle stage. And of course, you always want to see the hotspot title, and that is this right here, and then of course the related category. So we've got all those things selected. And I'm just going to scroll up and say OK. Okay, now you can see this view that's popped up. It's showing the things that I told it to show. So we've got the hotspot type over here and the life cycle stage. And this view, again, just to show you, if you go up here and click on List, you can see that I'm viewing this new view that I created under my personal views called Combine Hotspots Check 2. That's the view we're looking at. But if you'll notice, this may not be the order that I want to look at things in. So maybe I want to see hotspot title next to hotspot type and lifecycle stage. So maybe I want to rearrange these. And so to rearrange these, what you would do is you would actually go back up here to List and click on Data Sheet View. Now, a pre-warning before we do this, what I'm going to show you that you can do in Data Sheet View is the only thing that you can do in Data Sheet View. The only way that you can use Data Sheet View is to rearrange columns, and you should be very careful when doing this. Because if you make any other changes, it could severely affect the database and break it and hurt other people and just bad. So be very careful when you're doing this, and this is the only way that you should use this function. I'm going to click on Data Sheet View. Okay, and you can see this is basically what we were looking at before, just in sort of a different way. So let's say that I want to see related product category first, and it's over here. So I'm actually going to click this column and drag it over and place it there. And maybe I want to see the hotspot next, and maybe hotspot type after that, and lifecycle stage. And the reason I'm putting these three columns together is because these are the three columns that are important when you're checking for alignment before you combine the hotspots. So seeing them together is very helpful. Now, when I was creating my view, maybe the hotspot mechanism isn't necessary, so maybe I could uncheck that box when I was creating my view, and you can always modify the view up here if you change your mind later. But so I've rearranged the columns in Data Sheet View, and again, that's the only thing you can use that function for. And then, once you've got them in the order that you want and you feel comfortable with, just go back up here and click back to standard view. And so you see we've shifted back to this view, but now the columns are rearranged as we place them. And from now on, anytime, so I'm going to start back on the home page, show you how to get into this. I'm on the home page of the database. Anytime you want to get to that view, you can just click on List, whatever list you were looking at. So we're looking at the hotspots list. Go up here to List. And then under this All Items drop-down, you'll see all the lists you've created. So the one we just created was Combine Hotspots Check 2. So that's going to be there from now on. So this is only a one-time thing. Okay. Now that we created that, let's say that we want to combine hotspots and non-dairy. So I'm going to filter by non-dairy under related categories. So where is non-dairy? There it is. Okay, and the next step, just so I can make sure I'm looking at them in order, is I'm going to filter by ascending. I'm going to sort, by hotspot ascending. Okay, so looking through my titles, I just want to make sure, so you can kind of see there's three different hotspot titles in here, and I want to make sure that I've named each of them correctly, and that all of the ones that I want to combine are named the same. So I know that these two are named correctly, and the only one I'm wanting to combine right now is this biodiversity loss one, so I'm just going to click on that. And so you can see all the titles are the same. So that's check number one. Check number two is that all of the hotspot types are the same. So environmental is the same. We're good to go there. And lifecycle stage is the same. Let's check that. We're good to go there. Okay, so now they're ready for combining. And again, if you saw misalignment between these, if some of these were off and they weren't the same, and you wanted to edit one to align it, you would just click this drop down and say Edit Item. I'll show you what that looks like. So maybe it's hotspot type environmental, and maybe it was supposed to be both. I don't know. After you click Edit Item, you would just scroll down and fix the hotspot type right here. Or the lifecycle stage, whichever one. Okay, but that one was okay, so I'm just going to cancel out. Okay, so I've determined that I'm ready to combine. So what's the next step? Well, I said I wanted to combine the hotspots for non-dairy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click in this related categories, I'm going to click on the non-dairy category. So these next steps you have to do in this order. I'm going to go to the Hotspots tab, click there, and sort by hotspot title. And now you can see all the biodiversity loss, aquaculture, and fisheries hotspots I want to combine. And they're in order because I sorted them. So I know I can just click down the list here. These are the ones I want to combine. And I'm done. So I just want to go up to the top here and say Combine Selected Hotspots. So I'll wait for that to process. Now, this is processing, and since I've already checked the alignment, I know it's going to work. If it did not work and it returned an error, you know, maybe it's telling you your titles are not the same, or the hotspot type is not the same, then you would need to go align those and try again. But this one worked because everything was aligned. You can see it's just combining all the related citations. Another thing is it also combined all of the mechanisms. So each of the individual mechanisms, it basically just meshed them all together in this box. So I'm not going to rewrite this now. I'm just going to put a placeholder in. But essentially, when combining, you would want to write a summary mechanism in this box of all the individual mechanisms. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to leave that for the lead researcher of this product. So I'll just put in this placeholder. So once you've rewritten that mechanism, a couple things you might want to check for. If there's page numbers, you want to clear them out of this box. If there's anything in these boxes, you might want to clear them out if they only apply to the specific paper, maybe not. But sometimes, you know, there's weird sentences that don't make sense with this combined hotspot. You might want to clear it out. Anyway, so we're done, and I'm going to click Save. Okay, so now you'll see that it combined those 4 entries into one. And if I go to click on that hotspot now and scroll down and look at the archives, there are all the entries that I combined. So that is how to combine hotspots.